Don't do this to yourself. Hey, Motorman here. You know, I know it's springtime. That means a lot of people getting out riding. It doesn't really matter what state you're in now. Just about everybody has nice weather. So I know a lot of people are tempted. If you've got a bike like this, Sportster, or, you know, a 500cc bike or any mid-sized bike, and you think you did really good last year, you felt fine riding down the road, so now you're in the market to get one of these. Well, the difference between these bikes, not accounting for the looks or the styling of them, this bike is about 550 pounds. This bike is about 875 pounds. If you have not yet mastered the techniques and can't ride this bike or having trouble with making turns from a stop, U-turns, etc., don't go and get one of these, because it's just going to amplify everything that you're doing wrong. Is going to be much worse, and it's going to be much more difficult to learn the proper techniques on this bike than this bike or any smaller bike. You're much better off taking some training. Now, I've got Ride Like a Pro courses in many states around the country. Almost all of them are already open. You can go there and find out if you actually know how to ride this motorcycle, because if you don't, this is going to make it worse. And when I say make it worse, the reason I'm even talking about this is this past Sunday, I had a class with a rider, nice woman, I don't know, maybe 40 years old. Not that she's old or anything, or extra tiny, but she's got a brand new 850-pound motorcycle, even went for the $6,000 extra paint job, and she couldn't ride the bike. She was scared to death of this motorcycle that she paid so much money for. Now, she said she started on a bike like this, then she went up to a deluxe, and I think then a Road King, and then she buys the Electroglide style motorcycle, the biggest, heaviest bike of them all. What she didn't say was that she was good on the little bike, you know, because I get a lot of people that come to my class and they say, well, you know, I bought this new Indian Chieftain and I'm having all kinds of problems. I had no problem with my Sportster. I say, okay, hang on. So I watch them, I see what they're doing. They have no skills at all. So then I put them on the Sportster. Okay, you were really good on the Sportster. Well, let me see you do these U-turns and some of these exercises on the Sportster, and they can't do it. That tells me, just like this woman, she never learned to ride the first small bike she had, and then she kept getting bigger and bigger bikes, and her mistakes kept getting bigger and bigger. That could be death out on the road. If you're coming around a curve and you're so scared of leaning your motorcycle, you're probably going to run off the road at some point. This particular rider could not turn right for anything, and there were no excuses other than she was extremely afraid. In fact, I put her on the back of her own bike. I rode through all the exercises, and she was screaming, literally screaming the entire time that she was afraid the bike was going to fall over. You know, for that type of person, you got a couple of choices. First, get some training. Start even with a bicycle. I tell this to people all the time. A bicycle works the same way as a motorcycle. If you're afraid to lean a bicycle, probably two wheels aren't for you. But if you're on a little bike and you really can't ride that and you're scared of that, don't get a bigger bike. And I'm going to show you a couple examples of what I'm talking about. Here she is going through exercise one. She's supposed to be weaving through the cones. Instead, she just goes straight. She's at idle. Now, I had stretched that U-turn out from 27 feet to 35 feet for her, and still she couldn't make it. The U-turns are about 50 feet. I'm purposely giving you long shots because I don't think the rider wants to be identified, and I didn't want to embarrass her. But, you know, the 5th to 6th time through should look like, well, you'll see coming up, but she just goes straight on through, is scared to death of turning the bars. This is what it should look like, 5th or 6th time through. But since she's afraid to lean the motorcycle even slightly, it's almost impossible to get her through this exercise, which usually lasts 30 to 45 minutes. I put her back to the small cones and she started weaving just a tiny bit. Her U-turns, though, were still gigantic. I mean, I stretched that U-turn out to 35 feet, and I think she's somewhere around 70-foot U-turns. I had my assistant work with her for about 3 hours on just this one exercise. I think he eventually got her down to about a 35 foot U-turn, and the weaves got a little bit better. She never made it through the bigger cones, but what she needs is a one-on-one lesson, starting with a bicycle, then moving up to the Sportster, and eventually to her bike. If she's determined, she'll come back and she'll take me up on my offer. And now if you find yourself in a similar situation, please don't get the bigger bike till you learn how to ride the smaller bike. And to help you, get yourself a copy of my Ride Like a Pro experience and Surviving the Mean Streets video, all on a USB, so you can plug it into your phone and watch it before you go to practice. You'll also get a Ride Like a Pro patch, a Ride Like a Pro reflective helmet sticker, and on the right here, that's the Ride Like a Pro practice guide. It shows you how to set up all the exercises. Master them on the small bike, then go to the big bike. This is at ridelikeapro.com for $34.95, the best money you'll ever spend on your motorcycle. It's over 2 hours of detailed instructions. Please subscribe, click that notification bell, give me a thumbs up, and thanks for watching. If you want to turn the bike around, it should look like this. I turn my head 9. I got all kinds of room on that side. But if you do this stuff, it should be a warning to you that no, you are definitely not ready for a big motorcycle.